Hi, I'm Amber Hurdle with Amber Hurdle Consulting, and today I'm going to do something a little bit differently. I'm usually talking about leadership or just different principles to help you be your best self, use your gifts in a way that is compelling and makes you feel amazing in service to other people. We talk a lot about personal branding, we talk about all kinds of things, but this week I want to get a little personal because I have been doing so much more coaching in 2020 with COVID happening and not being able to take stages and speak to hundreds or thousands of people, not getting on airplanes and all that kind of stuff. And it's been a really rewarding experience. Um, but it's also pointed out to me that maybe I need to be a little more vulnerable publicly. I think when I was hosting the Bombshell Business podcast, I was definitely super vulnerable. So I hope that that group knows that I pick on myself, or that I'm not perfect. But as I have been just moving about the world this year, I keep getting like these consistent comments made to me. When I do take on a new coaching client, they might know me, or they might have been in an audience of mine previously. They might have seen a video that I put out, or maybe follow me on social media. And so they don't really like know me. Some do. Some in my local community, or they're already in my business world, but most people don't know me. So I want to present to you today 5 things people believe about me that are not true. Okay. So we're going to bust some myths today about Amber, who, P.S., is so not perfect. Okay. So one of the things that keeps being said to me, and this has been over the years as well, is you are always so intentional. You're intentional without fail. Are you ever not intentional? Um, I fly by the seat of my pants a lot. Okay. I very much go with my intuition on a lot of decision making, especially in light of COVID. I mean, gosh, ask Abby, who works for me. Not always all that intentional, but what I am very intentional about is more staying in alignment with my mission. It's about honoring the vision board that I make every New Year's. My husband and I go off and take a trip, and we vision what we want our year to look like. So we have separate vision boards, obviously, with some pieces of that are united because of our relationship and partnership. Um, I make sure that things are in alignment with my values. And there again, not all the time I screw up, but that is an intention. I am intention about my priorities. So who gets my time? Who gets my attention? What is going to be the priority today? Because when you're clear on what outcomes you're committed to, it just helps guide those smaller decisions, right? So how to use your time and resources. Well, if you know that foundationally these things are important, and you know that's where you ultimately want to end up, then you can fly by the seat of your pants a little bit on the how to get there part, right? So the only difference between me and someone else who doesn't see themselves as super intentional is I focus on the what, and I don't get tripped up on the how. The journey might be bumpy, and if you knew my personality profile, you would know it's going to be bumpy. But I do okay with discomfort, like from a personality profile perspective. And so as long as I know where I'm heading, like I can just keep tripping, getting up and figuring it out from there because I know the destination. So my advice to you is to get clear on what makes you uniquely suited to serve other people. So, that's always step one in the Velvet Machete leadership pillars in the success path, if you will. It's just building your personal brand, and that's really like, what is your soul work on this earth? And many of us, many of you who watch me, that's personified through your leadership, that's personified through your profession. And so your purpose and your vocation are one, and others it's not. And then that's okay too, but just know what that is, or at least have an idea of it if you're not there yet. Decide what your short-term goals are, what your long-term goals are, for you, for your family, for your team, how it fits into your company, whether you own it or you work for somebody. Be clear on what that is, be clear on your values, and then let go of perfectionism. How you get there might look a little bit crazy, um, but with intention, that foundational intention is going to guide you. So it's not the path that really matters, it's the end result, right? So that's my advice to you. I'm not always intentional, I'm just intentional about the big things, and then I fall all over myself on the way to getting there. Myth number 2 about Amber Hurdle. Your confidence is unshakable. Oh, Amber, you're so confident. Amber, are you never insecure? Okay, I am inherently confident. I said that there was, or I always say that there was a complication at birth and my give it or busted, because I really just, I don't get caught up on what other people think. Like that's not really a thing for me. And in general, not, I won't say that there's not specific circumstances, but in general, I don't wake up every day wondering how many likes I'm going to get on my Instagram post. If you don't want to like my dog, don't follow me on Instagram. So what I do believe from a fundamental perspective, and y'all know I'm not religious, but I am deeply spiritual. And I do believe that we're all fearfully and wonderfully made. And I do believe that we're made in the image of God. So I guess that's pretty good because God's pretty good. And if we're made in his image, then you call it the universe or whatever, but we are delightful beings. We are miracles in and of ourselves every single day that we wake up breathing. So I'm not going to argue with that. Like, I'm just going to accept that. So that's not to say that I don't have areas of life where I'm more insecure or that I don't have trauma or wounds or things like that that bubble back up and I have to like contend with in the day, because I do, like, all the time, but I contend with it. I don't let it tear me down. I don't let it become my identity. And there's also things that I'm self-conscious about. Like, I'm a human being, and also, it's just natural to see something that maybe you don't like that's not the best about you, and then to have a moment there. But again, I don't sit there. So I guess the difference between me and someone else who feels less confident and perceive me as like endlessly confident is I just double down on self-awareness. And I preach this all the time. Go to university, study yourself, understand what makes you tick, understand the things that you're awesome about, right? Or the things that you do that are awesome. And um, understand how you help and serve other people, because when you're in service to other people and it's not about you, then it's kind of hard to get down on yourself, because you can see how that gift that you naturally have is able to serve another human being, and that's beautiful. So you can't really pick on that, right? And I'm also, in addition to knowing what I'm really good at, and harvesting that, I also know what I suck at. So anybody who is super close to me will hear me say repeatedly, oh, we got to bubble wrap that. We've got to bubble wrap that. Because that means I put things in place to protect me from me. And trust me, I need protection from me. Like, it takes a team, seriously. So while I'm kind of like no, not kind of, I am a big picture visionary person. I need a constantly evolving work environment. I don't have a lot of regard for slowing down for the tiny little details because I'm, 12 steps ahead. That's how I'm wired, and that's how I serve best. If I tried to do it any other way, if I tried to like be in the little details, or I tried to do the same thing every single day all the time, I would not be operating in my greatness. So my bubble wrap is I have to ensure that I have people on my team who love consistent routine, who love repetitive work, who, or at least they can tolerate repetitive work. They have the eagle eye to catch details, and who are strong at the follow-up, who haven't moved on a year, 3 days from now when they need to follow up to make sure something got done. So I know these things about myself, but I just put that bubble wrap in my life. And, the other thing about this is I avoid external influences that might tempt me to catch that ugly disease, comparisonitis. That's a very, very ugly disease. That is something that I'm afraid uh, the current generations just get so caught up in, especially with social media being so prevalent, and everybody's putting their best foot forward on social media, myself included, because who's going to put like the drag stuff on there, right? But I guess what I know is everybody's putting their best foot forward. So I don't compare to that. And I don't watch a lot of media. I don't get into, and if you watch it, that's fine, but I don't really watch The Bachelor or Real Housewives or anything like that, because that's all fake, right? It's fake. So, when I start to feel like I'm picking on myself, whether that's physically or emotionally or professionally, my go-to strategy for that is immediately to step into gratitude, because when you are able to be grateful for what's a part of you already, um, you can understand that maybe I might be jealous of this person's whatever, or I wish I could have that, even if it's not a feeling of jealousy. I wish that I was, that extroverted, or I wish I was that pretty, or I wish I was that articulate, or whatever it is that you're wishing from somebody else. I think it's a safe bet that they might be wishing back to you that they had some of your attributes or some of your talents or some of your looks or whatever that looks like. So, um, whenever you're comparing yourself to somebody else, I want you to think about what would they be jealous of for me. So my advice to you, if you want to increase your confidence, is to radically accept who you are right now, not who you want to be, but who you are right now. Love the gifts that you have, love your physical attributes. If you don't love yourself, it's super difficult to get anybody else to love you in the way that you ultimately deserve. Bubble wrap those areas like I do that might get you into trouble, and begin a gratitude campaign every time you start to see yourself comparing yourself to someone else. All right. Now, myth number 3: you're just so organized all the time, Amber. Oh, you're so organized. Are you ever not organized? You have everything in place all the time. Um, this is a tricky one because it's a yes and a no. I am and I'm not. So it's kind of like the you are so intentional all the time. Like the rocks, the foundation, that part is organized, but the everyday, maybe not so much. So I'm super organized foundationally, meaning everything has a place. Like I've got a system in my closet, I've got a system in my office, I've got a digital system. I mean, if you've ever watched any of my previous videos from way back in the day, I did like this whole tour of how I stay organized. Everything has a place. It provides a framework for how I work day to day. But y'all, I have ADD, diagnosed ADD, okay? Attention deficit disorder. So my brain doesn't work like most people's. So all of this structure is just another form of bubble wrap that I bring into my life to enable me to really to protect myself from myself and to be able to exist in a non-ADD world. But the difference between me and somebody who might not feel as organized is, even with my ADD, I just radically accept myself. I know I have it, and I do my very best to live with an attention deficit disorder in the regular world. So my advice to you, if you want to be more organized, whether you have ADD or not, is to work on the second pillar of Velvet Machete leadership, the continuum, the pillars, if you will. And that's just build supportive environments that are unique to you. Okay. So what works for me might not work for you. And I want you to surround yourself with the people. I want you to surround yourself with the processes that you uniquely need to operate at your best, to keep you organized. How you organize might be different than somebody else. You might need like color coded bins, and somebody else wants like tightly filed filing cabinets or whatever. I don't know what that looks like. You might want to throw your socks into a basket in your closet, and somebody else might want to have them neatly folded in a drawer. Everybody's different. It's whatever works for you. So start with that. Start with the structures and the systems that you need to support you uniquely, because remember, first you have to know yourself. That self-awareness, you have to have that personal brand, so then you can build environments to support that personal brand. And just remember, you're not going to get it right all the time. Life's a journey. Perfection is an illusion. There is no such thing as perfect. Okay. If you're doing your best, then you're doing the best in the day for the day. And your best, when done repeatedly, is going to significantly increase your ability to improve upon the matter. So 40-year-old Amber and 20-year-old Amber, totally different people. Okay. If you would have seen me at 20, you'd been like, hot mess express. What? That is not who Amber is today. But it just took that over and over again. So moving on. Myth number 4: Amber, you just always know the right thing to say. No, no. Ask my son, actually. How many times do I start a sentence and then like I literally don't even finish the sentence? It is a running joke in my family. Okay. So I have so much going on up here. Again, part ADD, part that I communicate for a living. It's just, I don't always have the right thing to say. Or at the end of the day, I'll often say like, I can't find my words. I can't, what's the word? Like it could be a word as simple as desk, but I can't find that word. Now I do have a PR degree. I have a marketing minor. I have an organizational communication minor. I'm an ICF certified coach. And so that requires endless hours of communication. And, I've been doing speeches since I was a kid, and I was on the debate team in college. So, I mean, I'm rehearsed at it, right? So I'm rehearsed on how to respond in the moment. And so that might mean that I'm naturally gifted in that area, but that doesn't mean that you can't get good at it too. So, or it also doesn't mean that sometimes I really suck at it. I mean, I have those moments where I leave a conversation, I'm like, did I really say what I meant there? Or did they take that the wrong way? Or I think I left this part out, and I hope I didn't offend them or hurt their feelings, or maybe I should have said that in a way that would be better received. So I have those moments too. But again, the difference between me and a lot of people is I just kind of forgive myself and move on, or I fix it immediately. I deal with things head on. So my advice to you, if you struggle in this area, if you think that you don't communicate, or always know the right thing to say, I want you to prepare in advance. The things that you have to say out loud, like the word no, and create a script. Just put it in your phone, in your notes. And when you're struggling with it, or you're going to have to say it, just whip that out and read it and modify it for whatever it is you're about to say. But the fact that you're reviewing it is making those words familiar to you. So the first time they come out of your mouth, it's not like, blah, 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 blah. I've never used these words before. Actors have scripts so that they're prepared to act with authenticity in front of the audience, or in front of the studio audience, or in front of the audience in the movie theater, or at home on the couch. If the first time you ever say something is the first time, it probably is not going to sound natural. And so I do that before I have to approach a topic. I think about how I'm going to say it. I might not create the script because, again, I'm past that now, but this is something I encourage all of my clients to do. And if you have a big conversation coming up, maybe role play with somebody that you trust, so that you are having not only the conversation, but the pushback going on at the same time. If there's something that you probably should say frequently, but you have a hard time, I like to call that your canned response. So I want you to have a response that you say repeatedly every single time, so it's your go-to, it's your truth. So for example, I get asked to serve on a lot of boards or a lot of volunteer committees, and there's ain't no way I can shove one more thing into my day. Okay, there's no room for it. So my go-to is saying, and I hate to say no because they're well-intended people and they're all great causes, but I just always say, you know what, I would love to support you in this, but I'm afraid that if I got involved, I would ultimately let you down. My plate is full. I have more on my plate than I can say grace over. And you're going to always end up at the bottom, and you deserve better than that. This is a heartfelt, you deserve better than that. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not taking anything away. I'm giving an opportunity for them to find a better fit. Okay. So that's my go-to canned response. So scripts, role playing, canned response, that will all help you seem like a more confident communicator, seem like you always know what to say. And number 5, last but not least, on the list of 5 things people believe about me that are not true. And this really could have been 20, 100 things, because I live in quasi small town America and have for a very long time. So there's plenty of things that people have said about me that are not true. But these are those things, again, that are just maybe because of my online persona or whatever. So the number 5 thing is, you never slow down. Another huge myth. Yes, I do. Y'all, I spend at least at least an hour every single morning reading, journaling, meditating, researching. I feed my mind and my spirit praying. That is at least an hour. And that doesn't even count what I do at night before I go to sleep. And then right after that hour, I spend at least another hour exercising. So that might be a long walk, that might be swimming in the pool, that might be getting my tail kicked by my virtual trainer for an hour, but that's 2 hours, y'all. 2 hours every single day investing in me before I give anything to anybody else. Okay. So this myth that like I never slow down. No, I do. I intentionally slow down, back to that word intention. And I'm the queen of bubble baths. Queen. It could be in the middle of the day. If I'm feeling stressed out and I need a moment, I go take a bubble bath, or I get in my hot tub, or maybe I float for 10 minutes in my pool if it's good weather. And like I'll literally eat my lunch on my float, and it's only 10 minutes, but I get dressed again and I get right back to work. We all have our thing that helps us to take a chill, right? So, my advice to you is to make sure you have fun in your life. So I don't know what that looks like for you. It could be that you call a friend. It could be that you go take a walk at your lunch break. It could be that you stop and read your book, or maybe you turn on Netflix, not for the rest of the day, but just for maybe like 30 minutes or so. I love listening to comedy books on Audible. So, like Kevin Hart is hysterical. Any of his books are fantastic because they're meaningful and they teach you stuff, but it's also funny because it's Kevin Hart and he's hysterical. So, look for that. And then think about how you need to ground yourself so that your energy is grounded. I got off a coaching call with somebody yesterday, and she was like, I need to just be barefoot in my garden. And that helps me feel grounded and it gives me more energy. I've already told you what I do. And I understand like what I do is not possible for everyone. I'm self-employed. So I'm in charge of my own schedule. I don't have small children. I mean, there's just so many things at play here, but like everything else I preach, right? You should customize your schedule according to your life and your needs and your desires and what you want out of the world. So that's it. Those are the 5 things. I hope that with humility, I've kind of showed you behind the curtain and showed you that like these things that I know many of you think about me they're not true, because I can be the captain of the Hot Mess Express. Just depends on the day and the moment. And while I might have it together for all that you see, just know that everybody is human. And if there's anything that I really want everyone to know is however you're designed and whoever you are, do that. Do more of that. Do that and design your life to support that person, and let go of the things that don't resonate with you, that don't serve you, that don't help you be your best. So radically accept yourself. I think you'll find a lot more confidence. And when you have confidence, all those other things definitely come into place. So if this helped you, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. What are you going to do differently? Just plop it in the comments so that I know that this is resonating with you. Definitely like the video, and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you always get alerted when I produce a new video. And I will, as always, see you next week.